Yo, what is good, my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned with yet another JJK Fans and Parade video. I hope that you guys enjoyed that recollection bit tier list earlier. That one was a bit of a mess, I'm gonna be real. The character tier list, I had a pretty solid idea altogether, like who I wanted where, very instantly when I thought about doing those videos. The recollection bit tier list was a little bit more difficult, and you guys can probably tell that from the actual video itself. Definitely go check that out if you have not seen it yet before I talk about this. But today we're going to be talking about the ways that they could improve recollection bits in the game to make them stronger, make them better, or just make some more useful in general. Because it feels like right now in the game, we just use a very common group of recollection bits. Like, I feel like if I told somebody to tell me 10 recollection bits they use on the daily, they would only be able to really name me like 4, because that's what your frontline units are using for recollection bits, right? I think that the only way that they could really I think that the only way they'll to be able to tell you, beyond 4 or 5 is if they're beyond a casual player and they're really one of those kind of players who are trying to beat every single thing and maybe don't have every single character that they need, and they have to make these weird quirky team comps to try and figure stuff out. But like, quite literally, if you're not doing that, and you're not like, and most of the time the recollection bits that I'm using, like, I know which ones I'm using, but if I need to look up a guide, I'm literally just using the ones that they have on the thing, and mine are all max level because I'm just trying to max level all my bits anyway. So it's like, it's not like I have an inherent knowing of like, okay, these bits are better than this. I mean, like, I do for like the top 3 bits that I use, right? Like top unity from top to bottom, stuff like non-standard, stuff like pride, stuff like an excellent shape. Quite literally, those are my 4 right there. I know what those do all the time, right? And I don't even know what their passwords do sometimes. I forget sometimes, I have to reread it. So right there, that just goes to show you that recollection bits aren't really, they feel more like an afterthought in this game than an actual assisting piece to characters. Because I feel like I see characters come with new recollection bits and I try them out with their new recollection bits, and then I feel like I always see all the other like guides and videos and whatever, when people are actually using the character, I see them using other recollection bits that have already been in the game anyway, even though some of the new recollection bits that come out are a little bit better for them. So that doesn't even go to show that they're not making good recollection bits. That just goes to show that maybe people aren't even bothering to look at recollection bits because they just feel like it doesn't really matter to change them that much. But now that we can get into the topic, if you guys want to go down below and leave a like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the Dead Man decides to glide, and comment down below and let me know what you want to know, we can get to the video. Let's get to it. Now, I want you to know, chat, at the start, not even at the start of this video, before I started this video, right before I started recording, I came in and I did my free daily summon because I have the Celestial Pass, so I can do a free daily summon on any banner of my choice for the day, and I've been doing it on Shoko's banner until I get back up to 100. So now I officially only need to do 5 more multis on Shoko's banner so that I can actually get her. And luckily enough, Shoko's banner actually leaves at the same time as Gojo's banner. So that means that Shoko's going to be here all the way till November the 4th. So I have no doubt in my mind that they're just going to provide free-to-play cubes to us through means of events. Yeah, literally just events and just giving stuff away for free, right? Like they might give us more free cubes when Nanami comes. Who knows? But I do have faith that we will be seeing another 15,000 cubes, or I'll be seeing another 15,000 cubes by some way, shape, or how. Everybody will not possibly be seeing that, but I think that through my little strenuous grinds that I like to do and all of my little overhead grinds, like the character growth system and all that, like I think I'll be able to squeeze out 1,500 cubes without spending any money. Honestly, I don't even need 1,500 cubes. I need 1,300 because I have 2,000 right now. But I'm only saying this to say, bro, I did my single summon today, and I was literally in my head, like caking it up, telling myself, I was like, yo, I'm at the 100 point. Like the 100 point, that's got to be Shoko. They were just trolling me. They wanted me to work for it a little bit. But now that I've worked for it a little bit, I'm going to get Shoko. Funny enough, I got the fucking recollection bit. Now, this is a great transition to go look at her recollection bit, because her recollection bit is going to be the anchor point that I want to talk about for this video. This video is supposed to be a video talking about how they could boost recollection bits. I have 3 different ways that I have thought up for the recollection bits. One way is literally more kind of like leaning towards boosting the characters that wear the recollection bits. The other way is more for boosting the recollection bit to give the recollection bit more relevance. And then the third way is kind of a little mix of both, because if you did it the third way that I am thinking of, you would quite literally have to do both of the things that I'm like talking about in the first 2 versions, right? So I have one version which leans one way, another version which leans the other way, and then I have a third version which quite literally is just like the perfect in the middle remedy for how to do it. And it's no surprise, realistically, like watching the video, you're probably going to be able to, if you really watch my videos and you have been watching my videos lately, you're probably going to have a really good idea of what I'm going to say for this. But nonetheless, I digress. Let's get blessed. Ooh, the reason why I want to start off with Shoko's recollection bit is because Shoko's recollection bit is literally just an improved version of the recollection bit mutual trust. So if we take a look at mutual trust, right, at 3 stars, I'll say it. I'm obviously mine's at 5 stars, but I'll say it 3 stars. At 3 stars, what the recollection bit does is that it provides your entire team with 35% damage taken decrease to all allies for 1 turn, for 1 turn, and it cannot be used again for 8 turns. So 8 turn cooldown, 35% damage reduction to all allies, right? And then this one right here just recovers 10 cursed energy for all allies when the battle starts. Very good page. Not bad at all. Even gives you HP, Jujutsu, and Taijutsu as a stat, because some of the recollection bits do not give Taijutsu at all. Some of them don't give Jujutsu at all. See, this one right here doesn't give Taijutsu at all. And I'm pretty sure Like-Minded Sisters actually does give a little bit of curse technique. But there is one that doesn't give any. Is this one? No, this one definitely has curse. No, this one's just physical. Cool. So we found an example. All right. Excellent. So what is the one I just read? That one is 35% damage reduction for 1 turn, cooldown of 8 turns for all allies, and then recovers all allies cursed energy by 10 at the start of the battle. Okay, very excellent page. But if we look at Shoko, we can see right here that this one is, upon using a command skill or ultimate skill, applies 35% damage taken and decrease to all allies for 1 turn. So this one is not limit broken yet to the point where it's at the 2-star version of this skill. Once this gets upgraded enough though, this one is actually going to provide 40% damage reduction instead of 35% damage reduction. And then this one right here, instead of giving everybody 10 cursed energy at the start of the battle, whenever your cursed energy is 20 or lower, you will give yourself 10 cursed energy, which is perfectly fine for Shoko because Shoko has healing skills. But she can do that up to 3 times in battle. I do like things that 1 have multiple procs and 2 are going to carry into the later parts of the battle for me, just because the later parts of the battle is when you're really going to need those type of things. This 10 cursed energy at the start of the battle is certainly nice, but at the same time it's like, it's kind of like, yo, that is just a static stationary, you know, first turn thing. What are we going to do later in the battle when the enemy takes my cursed energy away directly? Oh, Shoko's recollection bit can give me 10 cursed energy as long as my energy is below 20. All right, cool. It's going to amend some of the cursed energy that was taken away from me. It had some form of counter for that thing, right? And this is my first point that I want to make. They made this recollection bit. This recollection bit basically just clears that recollection bit altogether, I believe. So we need a form of recollection bit like limit break besides this. We need a form of actual recollection bit limit surpassing, so that old recollection bits like mutual trust still can have relevance to this day. And it will still have relevance because this is a recollection bit on a limited banner for sure, but this is a very good character that everybody should be summoning for right now. So like, and honestly, I believe in the ability to everybody to get cucked by this banner and get this recollection bit instead of Shoko. Bro, I just did my single summon and got an SSR and it was the recollection bit instead of Shoko. Like, bro, how crazy are the odds on that? They decided to give me the SSR that's featured on the banner, and out of the 50-50, it wasn't the character, it was the recollection bit. So I feel like maybe people are getting trolled and getting a lot of the recollection bit or something like that, and maybe already have enough to replace mutual trust. And mutual trust isn't one of those recollection bits that I go rush to every single day. It's one of those recollection bits that's like, oh, I need extra damage reduction in this mission. I'm already using Inamaki. Let me use this as an extra little layer, right? So I'm never even considering it as straight up damage reduction. I'm considering it as an extra layer of damage reduction. I'll consider this one the same way as well, obviously, but we need to update these old recollection bits just like old characters need to be updated. Like anything that can fall into obscurity literally just needs to be updated. Like if you look at Grand Cross, gear will never fall into obscurity because gear is literally half of a character's stats. You see what I'm saying? But characters fall into obscurity. That's why characters get LRs. That's why characters get stat buffs. That's why characters get holy relics. That's why all of the systems around the character that make the character stronger always stay consistent, always stay the same, and just evolve, right? But in cases like this, for Black Clover's instance, skill pages and characters, they didn't improve skill pages. They started releasing second versions of the same skill pages, but just made them better. And at that point, they should have just released a system to limit break skill pages, because people could have it would have been better for the player base if they could just work on stuff that they already had. right? But when you introduce new stuff that's a lot better than the old things, we're now caught in this position where we're like, dang, bro, you're dangling us from our fucking nuts, asking us to fucking give you money, right? Like, oh, you need this new recollection bit that's better than the old recollection bit? And like, bro, I know nobody's complaining about this recollection bit replacing the old recollection bit, right? But I just noticed yesterday, or not yesterday, did I record that yesterday? I don't know. I noticed when I was doing my recollection bit tier list that those two are basically exactly the same, and that's going to be a problem that shows up in the game later. We're going to get recollection bits that are basically exactly the same, and what are we going to be able to do to make one relevant as opposed to the other? All right, cool. My solution number one is that we start to give recollection bits passives, like we limit break them and then they gain a new passive, but the passive is specific to characters, right? So what would make this recollection bit more relevant than the other recollection bit? The only thing that will make this recollection bit more relevant is in specific cases and in specific situations and scenarios where it has a extra passive on it that says when this character wears this, it's essentially like UR gear, or it's like skill pages in Black Clover Mobile, how they originally started out. Skill pages worked on any character, but if you put it on the actual character it was intended for, they got an extra passive unlocked somewhere, and no, not an extra passive. The passive just worked really well for them, and one of their skills literally got upgraded, right? So with that, automatically, even though skill pages was one of the most evil systems I've ever seen, right? Because it stops you from getting your characters guaranteed on the earth, stops you from getting your characters on the banner, because sometimes you can just summon a skill page instead of a character. Same thing with recollection bits in this game, because they're all on the same banners, right? Now all of a sudden we have this thing where it's just like, all right, cool, this new skill page that just came out probably clears this one right here, but this one still has relevance because when I put it on the specific character, I still boost one of their skills, and that's always going to be more valuable to me having the character's entire kit than them just having some extra passive that's good in general. Them having their entire kit is going to help them play their way, how they're supposed to play, a lot more, versus just some general good thing making them be good, yes, but it's just like, is that character even good in every general situation? What do you even need to give them that bit to make them good in every general situation for, when they're probably a niche character anyway, and there's probably a different niche character to go in this spot over here? And yes, I understand it's good to have characters that can be generalized good everywhere, but we had a few of those in Black Clover. I used Black Asta everywhere. Even when the new Black Divider Asta came out, the one that was dark, and people said the red one was just obsolete. Absolute bullshit, dude. You cannot believe most of the shit you see on the fucking internet. Ironically enough, you're watching this on the internet. But like, yeah, bro, some people just don't know what they're talking about. Some people literally just play game, and just some people's justification for new characters being hype is, I'm a part of a content creator program, and as long as I make this game look good, they'll give me more awards in the long run. That's fucking stupid. That is why I pay for my characters with my own money. If they want to give me a content creator program, that's perfectly fine. I am not kissing no ass. I am not saying nothing extra about nothing about no damn company that's not true, bro. For instance, I'm so glad I wasn't a part of a Vic Gaming fucking sponsorship program. They would have kicked me out of that shit so fucking fast. Oh my god. Y'all have seen my videos, man. But that is besides the point. The one of the things that they could do to upgrade recollection bits is just by adding literally just character specific passives to them, right? And it could be a one at a time type of thing. They're literally doing SP buffs right now. Like, they don't even have to implement a new game mode, to be honest. They could just add this as a basic thing if they really wanted to, right? So like, let's say this one right here came with, let's go back to Shoko's, right? This one right here. Let's say, okay, as they're working to overhaul all these bits, they don't make a new game mode, which, yes, I know, we want more game modes, but hold on. Let's say they don't make a new game mode, they just work to amend these and actually put these with specific characters. We could literally just see like the SP buff patches, we could just see recollection bit patches and just see them like, okay, now these 3 recollection bits have passives added onto them that make them work better with this character, and this character. And you know what the funny thing about all this is? If they added this, the game would only improve from this. Recollection bits would only get stronger from this, because we already play in a state where none of them are specific to characters. We already play like that. So now all of a sudden I can put it on a specific character and get even more from it. That is another system right there that makes something old in the game that people who are already playing, who are already dedicated, who already have the stuff, can get stronger in the game, and it makes sense. It's not nonsensical, right? What's nonsensical? Dropping a brand new character, asking for 25 multi-summons, but not even providing 25 multi-summons in a 6-month span before the characters come. Fucking nonsense. What makes sense? doing something to something that everybody in the game would already have a very good variety of and making it stronger so that everybody in the game can benefit. And if a sweat wants to pay for more copies of a recollection bit to make it stronger, they can still do that shit. Do you see the perspective I have, Billy Soomzap? I am coming from a perspective of, yes, I understand you need your money. I'm not going to say fuck you because you need your money. You're a company. That's just how it works. That's how the world works. The way that blood is our blood, money is your blood because you're an entire company, and the building that you work from is your body, and all the people who are working are the cells at work. That was a good anime reference right there. Leave a like for that shit. But besides the point, we do need to push a little bit harder and make sure that everything in the game feels useful. And obviously every single character and every single recollection bit in the game is not going to feel useful at the same time. There's such a thing as metas. But it's like, for a very long time, I feel like I've just been, even though I've been summoning all these new really crazy recollection bits and getting all these new free-to-play ones, I feel like I have genuinely only worked in maybe 5 extra recollection bits to what I usually use. And I'll be real with you, Imaginary Youth got worked in because I did not realize what it did before, and now I do realize. So I should have just been using it from the start for real. So if I knew what it did from the start, I would have been using it from the start. What else? This one right here is just a really good damage buff, especially it's free to play. You know, when you use all of your crazy damaging recollection bits, you're gonna notice there are a lot of damage recollection bits, but some of them pale in comparison to others. I've been looking up a few guide videos lately. I've been using A Slight Gap. I've been using Play of the Strong with Yuji a lot more. This one's been popping back up for me, Desperate Resistance, but I fucking hate this recollection bit because it's all RNG on if the enemy will actually hit Megumi enough times to give him his ultimate. But yeah, bro, I can't really look at this and tell you any more extra recollection bits that I've been using. I'll be honest with you, I have been slimming down my recollection bit selection, to be real with you, because so many extra ones are useless. The only other time I'm using them shits is from looking up a guide video and I have no clue at all how to beat that shit. Then I'm just gonna put on exactly what they had, copy paste the team, you know what I'm saying, just do what they did, right? But other than that, I don't look outside for any other extra recollection bits. So that is my first option. Option number 1, give recollection bits passives that are specific to specific characters, so that in specific situations the recollection bit that came out with a character is better than some other one that's already been out, that's already been running the game, whatever. Now let's move on to option number 2. Option number 1 was kind of more predicated to the units, because if you gave a unit an extra passive, that would automatically make the unit stronger, right? Because the passive could be so many different things, right? It could add a new mechanic to a kit, it could add a new buff or debuff to a kit, it could add an extra % stat buff to the kit, anything of that nature. And it's coming from the recollection bit too, so it's like recollection bits are much easier to work on than characters. Characters need to be graded up all the way, fully duped. You work on their skills, you work on their hidden potential system, you got to level them up, right? None of that here at recollection bits. Recollection bits is level up, awaken. So since it's such an easy thing to work on, it would be really cool if they did add passives to it, just because it'd be a very easy way, even for free to play players, to put extra passives on their characters that may be struggling in events and stuff like that. But the second way that I'm thinking for increasing the recollection bits is quite literally just increasing the level cap. So this one is more so predicated on the recollection bit itself, I guess. Or actually, no. The first one I said is more predicated on the recollection bit because it gives it an entirely new passive, which is probably the biggest change you could do for the recollection bit. This one is more predicated on the character, because while boosting the level cap of the recollection bit, right, and not giving a new skill or anything of that nature, it would be an extra 20 levels worth of stats being added onto the recollection bit. And stats certainly does just make a character stronger for sure. I didn't even mean to do that, but yes, stats are literally going to make a character stronger. So say this recollection bit jumps up from level 80 to level 100, and then all of a sudden you're getting like 40% HP, 50% curse technique and physical technique. I know that was a very small jump that I just explained, but in a game where everything works off of percentages, you know, multiplying off of each other, wherever you can increase your percentages and even your flat numbers, you are always going to see really big payoffs in the actual application of those things, right? Or in the actual fights, when you're actually doing damage, you'll see the difference, right? Even though it seems like the difference isn't there, like, yeah, your character's already hit hard, sure, but if your character's hit harder and the missions get harder and you're still wiping everything, yeah, you may not feel like the missions got any harder, but you never know. The missions could seem just as easy because your recollection bit is stronger, right? Because your character is stronger. That is a weird simulation that happens in gacha games. Gacha games actually do get harder, and people don't realize they're getting harder because their characters get so much stronger in proportion to it, or vice versa. Gacha games don't get harder, but because characters aren't being pushed as hard and aren't as cracked when they come out, it feels like the game is still really hard, right? So that's two things that can simulate a really difficult game. Really bad character releases, or really good maintenance of the things in the game to oppose good character releases, right? It all is full circle. There's a lot of stuff encompassed, but like, this is a very simple solution, quite literally. This is just giving 20 extra levels to recollection bits is literally not shit. Like, that is just like a half piss sniff away. I don't even know what that means, but like, I'm just like, yo, that's how infinitesimal it is to do that, to add 20 extra levels. That's not hard. And literally, bro, it just gives us something else to grind. Okay, oh no, now I gotta farm even more recollection bit stamina. By the way, guys, it is raining and the rain looks so beautiful, and I can't front of you, I just want to go to bed right now. I just want to go to sleep right now. Oh my gosh, this rain is peace right now. I want to go stand in this fucking rain and become one with the earth right now. This rain is just so, dude, magnificent. But besides the point, we'll get back to it. And also, when they increase the level cap, they could also do another overhaul kind of like update where I was saying, right, okay, they could just go in and add passives specific to characters. All right, cool. The same way they could do that, they could quite literally change this system right here, right? So that the second tier of this skill unlocks on Limit Break 2. This skill still unlocks on Limit Break 1, but on Limit Break 3, this skill improves too. Because you know what's funny? Some of these rare recollection bits down here, if you actually look at them, I know the perfect one. Where's Yuji's at? It's right here. I just saw it. If you look at some of these, they literally don't even have like the second ability. So it just kind of feels like it's like wasted, right? Because like they still wanted me to get this recollection bit to, I'm pretty sure, Limit Break 3? Yeah, you wanted me to still get this to Limit Break 3? Well, you could have just put it at Limit Break 1. There's nothing I'm getting at Limit Break 1. You might as well just give me the tier 2 at Limit Break 1. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like they try to keep these same systems, but then it's not even consistent across the board in the sense that, like, okay, I have to follow the same system with even a rare recollection bit and get it to A3 to get the full utilization of it, but there's not even anything right here. So now all of a sudden I'm getting to A1 for nothing. And I know it's easy to get to A5 on these. They're rare. Yes, that's not my point. My point is be consistent. Put a passive here and a passive here. We just need an overall overhaul for recollection bits, man. Like, it's just, I'm not saying that recollection bits are thoughtless, but they could have definitely put more thought into the recollection bits, you know, closer to amount of thought like when they put into characters, right? When I look at a character and I read a new character's kit, I'm like, yo, they was really cooking on this shit. This shit is intricate. This shit is unique. Bro is doing him. He's doing damage his own way. He's got his own little build up, blah, blah, blah. Like, every time I see a character nowadays, I'm thinking all that stuff. When I see a recollection bit, I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm not even worried about the effects of the recollection bit because I already know I got a recollection bit in my disposal that I can just put on that motherfucker. I'm more so looking at the art at that point, like, oh, nice art. I want that for the art, right? Like, recollection bits are just an accessory in this damn game. They're not an accessory in this game, but they feel like an accessory a lot. But yes, way number 1, adding character specific passives to recollection bits. Way number 2, boosting the level cap to recollection bits actually all the way to just level 100, and then literally letting us get the auto skill to tier 2 as well. Auto skills being tier 2 would be crazy because they just be stronger and they're not even anything active in the battle. So they would just all inherently make your team stronger just off of that alone, just passive stuff being stronger, right? But the last way that they could literally improve recollection bits, and this is why I was saying, you guys can probably figure out what I'm going to say. They can literally just UR recollection bits. Just UR the recollection bit, and I'll be honest with you, they can be lazy with the recollection bits if they want to. The characters, I do want to see new character arts when they UR the characters. That is a given. I want it to actually feel like my character transformed. There's no form of transforming, evolving your characters in this game. So when something like that is implemented, I do want to actually feel like I transformed my characters. Recollection bits, I am totally indifferent. I literally do not care if the arts change on them or not. They are literally just little memory clips that don't even get, you can't even use them every turn because they all have cooldowns. So it's just like, who cares? I don't care about no recollection bit animation, bro. How do you UR recollection bits? Okay, UR and recollection bits literally fully encompasses everything that I'm talking about right now, right? I was giving very basic answers because I'm just like, yo, Billy Soom Zap. I just want to be the person who gave you this shit step by step to really let you know, like, yo, you can do this, or you can do this, or actually I'm trolling your ass. Do all of it, and this is how you do it. But by me going over way number 1 and way number 2 gives it an intricate, in-depth explanation of how to do those things, so that when Billy looks at the player base and says, what do you guys want? And then they don't do the things that we want, and the dead man was here saying the stuff in actual clear color, giving you a full blueprint on how to do this shit, you don't do it, you can't sit there and say, we just don't understand why the community's mad. Because we said exactly how this shit should look. You didn't do it. So here's my full explanation roadmap on how to boost recollection bits, Billy Soom Zap. And it's up to you too, player base, because the more this video gets likes, the bigger this video gets and the more serious they take this video. But that is all up to y'all. But yeah, last way is literally just to UR the recollection bits, and by URing the recollection bits, you could literally A, UR it, B, boost the level cap, C, literally boost the passives anyway. So everything I just freaking said. With boosting the recollection bit to UR, you would absolutely have to give extra stats, because what will be the point of going to a higher rarity without getting higher stats? Honestly, if you push to a higher rarity on recollection bits, I say if with the recollection bits and not if with the characters, because I'm just like, there's no way they plan to leave the highest tier characters in this game at SSR always. That's insane to me. That's not real. Even BCM started out with SSR, UR, LR. So it's just like, you never ended SSR in games like this. Never, ever, bro. Even in Grand Cross, they literally got up to the UR point and then literally made a mechanic where characters just come in inherently base UR. So it's just like, you can still do that, right? And honestly, they could just introduce characters that do finally evolve, right? That could be our first festival celebration. I didn't even think about that. Like, we get our first character, and instead of them bringing some limit break type of system where characters UR, all of a sudden we just get our first UR character, and we get them as SSR, and then there's a whole new extra mechanic added into the game, or we actually evolve them. That'd be super fucking cool. I'd love that shit. But we're not here to talk about characters. We're here to keep talking about recollection bits. What you are in the recollection bit, at the bare minimum, at the very least, they have to obviously boost the rarity, they have to obviously boost the stats, they have to obviously boost the passive, because what will be the point of fully transforming the recollection bit if you weren't going to add the new passive on? If you're going to go the route of just trying to give more stats without boosting the passive at all, just go with the level cap boost. Like I said, if you're going to go with the route of adding passives on without actually adding any more stats to it, go with the passive boost, like I said. Or if you just want to be good to your player base and make sure we keep playing this fucking game in a year, do both. Yes, if this had way more stats on it and had a better effect on it, I'd certainly put it on Gojo these days. And honestly, to be fair, I'm looking at, like I said, I'm looking up freaking guide videos, and yes, I'm using this bit when I look at the guide videos, but like, 2 of the videos I saw is like using this, right? It's just a good nuking page, right? But honestly, this is an older page. This one is kind of like showing my point. We get these newer pages that give damage boosts, but this one is still one of the best nuking pages in the game. So it's just kind of like, what are we going to do to make newer and older ones still relevant? Because there are some newer ones that are irrelevant because there's an older one that can already do his job. There are some older ones that are irrelevant because newer ones do their jobs better, and then there are literally just some older ones that are just like, yo, still reigning supreme. And I'm not saying I want to see these pages nerfed, I just want to see all of the pages able to flourish. Just be like, bro, recollection bits are not characters. If every single recollection bit in the game was good, okay, that wouldn't change the gameplay that much, because we still have to figure out the characters to use in that sense, right? And if every single character in the game was good, there would be no need for banners, because everybody would always have what they needed. There would be no need for meta shifts or meta changes or anything like that. So obviously they can't make every character good. So obviously there's gonna be, if they do something that makes every single character good, obviously it's gonna take a long time for it to be fully implemented, or it's just not gonna make every character good. One of those two things. It just doesn't make sense for a gacha game to make every single character really fucking good. No brainer, no bueno, right? But recollection bits a little bit less impactful in battle. I mean, literally way less impactful than battle than the actual character, because the character is fighting the battle. The recollection bit is just an accessory at the end of the day. But guys, that's gonna be it for my video talking about what they can do to recollection bits. UR, level cap boost, passive boost. One of those three things. That's literally all it could be. But like, honestly, I am praying for UR recollection bits for real. And literally, like I said, they don't even have to change the art on the recollection bits. They literally just have to change this border to like all purple, basically. Oh, colors changed. Yes, that is literally all they had to do for fucking UR. Change the fucking colors, boost the level cap, change the passive. Like, bro, you don't even gotta change the passive that much. Literally, if you boosted mutual trust, what my goal for this is, you boost mutual trust, and maybe the damage reduction is exactly equal to Shoko's page, but you have that extra passive for whoever you want. Okay, for maybe a Megumi or a Yuji or a Kaito. Ooh, Kaito probably, right? So now, if any situation you need to get damage reduction and you want to run it on a Kaito character specifically, this bit is more relevant. But in any other case where you want to run the recollection bit for damage reduction, Shoko's is going to win. But honestly, at the point that you boost the other one and make it a character specific one and also boost the passives on it, this one also is still a good option in any situation as well. Now all of a sudden you're like, instead of I have a clear winner, you're like, I have two really good options. Which ones do I feel like using? And am I using Kaito right now? Right? That one had a lot more options packed into it. That one had a lot more freedom packed into it. That one felt a lot more like your choice. And that one's always going to feel a lot better versus let me use the old bit because the new one's ass, or let me use the new bit because the old one's out of date. But that is my yappings on how they could boost the recollection bit system, which they absolutely do need to boost the recollection bit system. And also, shout out, let me find his name real quick. Bro's name is Overlord J8131. Shout out to you, bro. I was actually already planning a recollection bit tier list and talking about how we could limit break recollection bits, and I low-key was kind of hesitant about the idea, and I kind of sat back on it, was just kind of like meditating on it, like, do I actually want to do that? Are people actually going to find it relevant? And again, just shout out you, Jay, because like you were my confirmation from the universe, like, yo, somebody out there does want to see this. So hey, bro, let me know down below in the comments what you want to see, bro, and I will cook that shit up as long as it makes sense for real. But if you like the video, make that make sense, and go down below and like the video. You can also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man decides to glide. It's rude to point at people, I'm sorry. And you can also comment down below and let me know what you want to know. That's gonna be it for your boy Deadman Vince. Billy Zoomzap, fix these recollection bits before I put my foot in your ass. And you all have an excellent day, Magic Knights. Bye.